following program contains disturbing materials that may not be suitable for some resellers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Let's face it, from a seller's perspective, cancellation requests suck. And it's even more disappointing when your sales are non-existent or slow. Now, my question to you guys is, what is your stance as a seller regarding cancellations? How do you handle a cancellation request? Well, in the eyes of eBay, it's just that. It's a request. So when you receive a cancellation request from a buyer, the buyer has 60 minutes from the time they agree to buy your item and actually pay for your item for them to go in and ask you to cancel the sale. Now, beyond that, they can reach out to you, send you a message through the eBay system, and ask you to please cancel the sale. And I've had a different stance on this before, and I've made videos on this subject before. I would say that if I received the cancellation request within the first hour and the buyer reached out to me, I was more apt to accept the cancellation request. That's just the honest truth, guys. That's what I used to do. And as I started listening to more people, as I started to get more perspective on business, and a lot of you guys I take a lot of credit, I give you guys a lot of credit for kind of talking me into having more of a business mindset. And you guys know who you are, the ones that join us on the live streams on Mondays and Friday afternoon evenings. It's you I credit for sort of the change in my mindset, because my mindset before was one where, well, the buyer agreed to buy my item. There's a series of steps they had to take to buy my item. And if it's because eBay is showing this buyer the same item at a different price point, well, I'm not going to cooperate with that. That was my mindset, my attitude. And I only was willing to work with the buyer if they reached out to me and said, hey, sorry for the trouble. I need to cancel. Can you please cancel, right? Accompanying the cancellation request, or even after the fact, sending me a note saying, hey, can you please cancel? And I always felt like if the buyer makes a mistake or they change their mind, the right thing to do would be to reach out and say, hey, sorry I wasted your time. And it's that disappointment as a seller we get. We're like, oh, that was a good item, or oh man, that item's been sitting on my shelf for months now, and I was happy to sell it. Now I'm gonna have to relist it, and who knows when this thing's gonna sell. You finally have in your mind the unicorn buyer, and you have that disappointment that we've all faced at one point or another when selling on eBay, as far as it pertains to these sketchy buyers, some of these buyers who change their mind on a drop of a dime, right? So now when this happens, the buyer opens a cancellation request, it's removed from your ready to ship orders. So when you go to ship your items, it's not going to be there. It's under your orders, but it's under cancellations, under the drop down. Now, it'll be there. eBay conveniently tucks it away, so you have no quick access to shipping it real fast. You have to go looking for it. And once you find it, if you decline the request, eBay is going to want you to submit a tracking number. Because in eBay's mind, the only reason why you shouldn't be accepting the cancellation is if you've already shipped the item. And they will allow you to go through with the transaction if you've already shipped the item. Now, to go in after real quick and run the label, I guess it's your prerogative, but it's certainly not a good look, especially if the buyer just bought it and they're looking to cancel and you go in and slap in a tracking number. So while I want your opinion, put that down below. I'll give you mine. Like I said, it used to be, look, I just want the sale. I really don't care less if the buyer, unless they have a good reason and they're willing to reach out to me, I was just going to go through with the sale. And that's just the honest truth, guys. But now I've changed my mind in that this is a long-term game that we're playing. Now, if sellers don't give good customer service to these buyers, they're not coming back, guys. And if we make the buying experience a more involved and difficult one from our side of the coin, because I mean they're already dealing with eBay showing them all kinds of different items, already creating a high effort buying experience. And if we contribute to that, instead of making it a low effort buying experience, and we create a high effort buying experience for our buyers, guys, we're going to have a hard time making sales, even more so than we are right now. Because the way I treat my customer today, well, that customer is going to be your customer tomorrow. And we've talked about this when it comes to dealing with customers when they email you, or customer requests and things like that, how it's our responsibility. eBay puts that responsibility on each and every one of us to provide the best customer service that we can provide our customers. And while, as I said, it's disappointing, it sucks to receive these requests, well, I think if the shoe was on the other foot and you made a mistake, because we're all human, that maybe you'd want that same courtesy in return. Whether or not, and this is where I was wrong, and I'm, have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, when the buyer doesn't reach out because they feel like it's part of the process and they don't need to, and eBay doesn't do a very good job of explaining clearly that the buyer should probably reach out, because the buyer is expecting you as a seller to cancel. And for me, just accept the cancellation and move on. Now, if the buyer reaches out and they tell you, hey, it's been over an hour, or I just need you to cancel this, and you haven't shipped it, I would say consider canceling the item if you haven't shipped it. And the way you do that is you go into the orders. So you go into your orders ready to ship, and you click on the drop down and you select cancel order, and then they'll give you three options: buyer requested cancellation, out of stock, or problem with address. Make sure you choose the right one, buyer requested cancellation. And then of course eBay sends them a confirmation to the buyer, making sure that they requested to cancel. And of course, most of the time they'll either just ignore it, they won't see it, or they'll confirm that it was definitely a requested cancellation, and then you just relist it, sell similar, and move on. So I want your thoughts down below. Let me know what your take is on this subject. I'm willing to bet there's a few that had the same mentality that I did, but I developed a very good, I think, business acumen simply by just the interaction with the community, at least on my channel, and I think I'm a better seller for it. But do me a favor, hit the like button, and of course subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. I'd certainly appreciate that. But figuring out how to handle just things like this that pop up out of the blue, like cancellations, is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And check out one of these videos that YouTube thinks you're going to like. And until next time, have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone.